Alright, who is the best girl in Alya Hides Her Feelings in Russian, an anime that came out last year in 2024 that at the end of Season 1 got announced for Season 2, and Season 2 has been officially confirmed that will be coming out next year in 2026. Now when it comes to the girls in Alya Hides Her Feelings in Russian, there's at least 6 girls that are very good. But we're going to be talking about the best 3 girls. And when it comes to this, I've already checked the article. These are definitely the 3 best girls when it comes to Alya Hides Her Feelings in Russian. And considering I just finished rewatching the anime again yesterday, I decided to do a YouTube video talking about all 3 and really decide who is my personal favorite out of the 3, because I can't lie. The 3 that they got on that list that are top 3 are very good choices. So I decided to write down 6 things about each of the girls that are in the top 3, and we're going to be talking about it. The first girl that we're going to be talking about when it comes to this is going to be Alya's sister, that is Masha Kujo. Now, like I said, she's Alya's sister. She's a warm and friendly person with a very nice smile, and I can say this, her personality is just so likable that I can't even lie to you. A lot of people that probably watch Alya Hides Her Feelings in Russian, when they introduced her, and I believe in episode 3, everybody was just probably like, alright, yes, she's a very nice person. I think that she's going to be a very good character. Keep in mind, in the whole of the first season, she's there now and then. She's in a big part episode where I believe that one of the student council members confiscated like a hypnotism book. And she's like, oh, please, Kuze, do the hypnotism on me. But it's just like, and then Kuze does it, and she's instantly out. But still, she's a student council with Masha Kujo after Kuze becomes a part of the student council. But originally, she's there with her younger sister as her younger sister's treasurer. And I forgot that she's I forgot what part of student council she is. But it, like I said, it has her as the 3rd best girl, and she is considered Madonna by the rest of her peers, because she has a motherly aura, she has nurturing instincts, and she has a very good look. And I can't even lie to you about that. The motherly aura and nurturing instincts, it's clear to see this, because when she loves to tease her sister, but when it comes to her sister, she's very protective and she's very caring. She will do anything for her sister. Like when she's making tea, she'll give her sister, she'll be like, here, we're gonna have your favorite, here's the amount that you always like to have. And then when it comes to Kuze, there was a moment where they were shopping together and they went to go pick up some tea, and then Kuze's having some traumatic thoughts about his past. And then we see that Masha's right there, and Masha just starts holding him and patting his head like, there. And it's just like, this Masha is definitely a very good girl when it comes to the characters in Alya Hides Her Feelings in Russian. And I can see why people like her, to be honest, like this. And I hope that when it comes to the 2nd season, we can see more of her, because she's a definite good character, and I definitely think that she's a very interesting character. But it just has her number 3 on this list. Alright, so now when it comes to number 2 on this list is Yuki Suo. And the first thing I gotta say this right now is Yuki is Kuze's younger sister. She is street smart, she is very dependable, she was a middle school president with Kuze, who ran with her just to not disappoint her. She's a very promising student at the private academy where they go to right now. She's the heir of the Suo family. She's a different person when she is around her brother. And when I mean a different person, she's deep down an otaku and loves anime and she loves the anime trope where the brother and the sister fall in love. And it's kind of weird. I can't even lie to you. That's kind of weird. But it's just a funny fact that now that we see how she is a person when she's in the academy and when she's at home with Kuze, and we can see how her love for anime ties down to her relationship with her brother, it makes it a very interesting character dynamic. And Yuki is definitely a very interesting character, because she has many different sides of her personalities, because like I said, she's street smart, she's dependable, she was a middle school president, she's a promising student, and she's the heir of the Suo family after Masachika and his mother left the family. And when it comes to her grandfather literally talks to her at dinner with her mother there, and she's like, yeah, Kuze is better than you, but you can't lose to him, so I will not accept losing as an option, so you gotta make sure you beat Kuze in the presidential election. And Kuze has already been off to a good start, because even when they got challenged to debate, they won that. And then when it came to the closing ceremony, they end up getting a bigger cheer than Yuki in the end. So Yuki's biggest competition right now is going to be her brother and Alya for next season when it comes to the presidential election. But the one thing that she cares about the most is her relationship with the brother. She cares so much about her brother, and her brother cares so much about her, to the point where I believe the servant, who's probably the sixth best girl when I saw the article, but the servant even went to her and was just like, yeah, Kuze still thinks that you are the most important person to him. And she literally almost screamed out her feelings for her brother to the school while school was going on. So that's just a very interesting character dynamic, and it just makes me like Yuki as a character, because it's like, even if all the bad things that can happen, the stuff that she does to Alya, they'll all still be technically friends, because at the end, if Kuze does Masha Kujo ends up getting with Alya, they're going to have a good interaction, considering they already knew each other because they were both on student council. They already both have a friendly type of relationship in that gem standpoint. And they both call each other by their first names. Yuki calls Kujo Alya, and then Alya calls Suo Yuki, basically, in that simple standpoint. So they already have a good relationship with Yuki. So yeah, when it comes to Yuki, I already explained everything about this, but in terms of the whole characters, if I had to say, in terms of, between Yuki and Masha, the way their character is, I'd probably put Masha over Yuki at this standpoint, but there's still one girl left, and that is going to be the main girl we're going to be talking about now. It's going to be Alya Kujo. Now, this is the most interesting thing, because the first thing I want to say right now is that when she was a kid, they had already met. Because she and Kuze had already met, but she was a different hair color, she had a different whole hairstyle, so we didn't really know that was Alya, and Kuze doesn't really remember Alya in that standpoint, and Alya loves to flirt with Kuze and flirt with Kuze in Russian. So when it says Alya hides her feelings in Russian, Alya is flirting with Kuze in another language, and in her mind, we all see the anime, in her mind, she's like, oh, this guy doesn't really understand me. Meanwhile, Kuze does actually understand what she's saying, and just doesn't say anything because he doesn't want to embarrass her. But I can't wait for the first moment that Kuze actually says, hey, you know everything you've been saying in Russian, the things you've been flirting with me in Russian? Yeah, I understand all of it. Alya's face is going to be so red, but I'm ready for that moment. I really hope it comes in season 2, because I just really like the whole character dynamic, because she's a brilliant in academics and sports, and he was showing us to be the lazy, slacker type of person who loves anime. Even their first moment, I believe, when they get shown, he's asleep in class after spending the whole night after watching an anime or watching a video of people talking about an anime. So it's just already that character dynamic in general. She's shown as a cold and distant person, but actually cares a lot about her peers, especially her sister and Kuze. And when it comes to her as a person, she tries to grow as a person and become better in excellence. And we can see that because when she becomes student council president, her main goal is to change everybody's opinions about her, because a lot of people have doubts about her possibly becoming student council president. So her drive is to make sure that people can see her as the next student council president and make sure she can be a very good student council president. She met Kuze as a kid before moving abroad and then coming back. But when it comes to Kuze, she's a very jealous and possessive type of person. We can see that because when there was an interaction where she was talking to Yuki, she was saying, hey, I know you may have some sort of feelings for Kuze, but I'm not going to let you have him because he's mine in general. And even though she doesn't really understand why, Mashika doesn't show interest in her, it turns out that her personality and her love for him comes out when she's in that type of situation where other people are talking about Kuze, and her older sister Masha loves teasing her about Kujo. I love teasing her about Kuze. So it's already kind of interesting seeing that's gonna already be happening. It's just we're gonna have to see it possibly next season, or who knows, maybe even the third season. And like I said, the final thing I want to say is that she's running against Yuki for president, and that'll be a majority of season 2. So when it comes to Alya hides her feelings in Russian, there's a lot of good girls when it comes to this. There's a lot of characters in the show with very good character development and character personalities in general. But if you had to say, out of all 3 of the girls that I really talked about today, my personal favorite character would probably have to be Masha or Alya. And yes, they're both sisters, but I just think their character dynamic is just very interesting. And Yuki's also a good character, but if I had to say, like, out of all three of them, my personal favorite would probably be Masha.